All right, you guys, this next man is an absolute legend. I don't even need to go over his resume. If you don't know, then you better do your Googles. I'm talking about the one and only world famous Kid Capri.
What up, what up, what up? Good, fam.
How you doing, kid?
Doing great, brother. Everything is great, man. Blessed and happy.
That's great to hear, man. So, what was it like for you growing up biracial in the Bronx as a kid?
I never had no issue. It was black. Black and half of Sicilian Italian, which is black within itself. But I never had I've never been no racist thing. I always been looked at as black. You know what I'm saying? Even my mother that's Sicilian, she was looked at as black. You know, my father's a big black man. You know, it is what it is. But I never went through that type of thing. It was never nothing.
People thought you were Puerto Rican, though, right?
For years and years and years, they still probably think that.
No, I do. I know some people that were like, yo, isn't Kid Capri Puerto Rican? They just said that like, it's crazy, man.
Yeah.
But you didn't face any like racism even within your extended family or anything?
Mm-mm. My family's black. My mother's Sicilian Italian, half Sicilian. Well, she's Sicilian, but you know, Sicilian people are half black because of the Mormons. So that's their history.
Right.
So, you know, besides that, you have a big black daddy. It is what it is. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I never really claimed the Italian side, even though I do to an extent. But I didn't grow up with an Italian family. We were a black family. That was it.
So in the household, how would you say like the household was? Was it very traditional as a family?
Yeah, regular. Nothing different. Mother, father, son.
What did your parents do for work growing up?
My father was a soul singer. My mother always been a nurse.
And you're growing up in a real interesting time because the 70s, the Vietnam War had ended and dope is becoming a real issue, right? This is around the time of hip hop, and then we have the crack era in the 80s. Take us through what the Bronx was like at that time as a child walking the streets.
Well, I wasn't on that side of the Bronx. I was on the good side of the Bronx. I was in Kingsbridge. So, you know, what was going on in the Bronx at that time, back then, it was, you know, I was too young at that time to go hang out. But when I did start hanging out over there, I seen a lot of different things. But that was past the crack era. The crack era was crazy. Buildings burnt down. A lot of different people living in the street. You know, it was just crazy. But you know, you go to one block, there was one block called Felon Avenue in the Bronx, where you drive in the block and you see all these people, man, all these crackheads looking like zombies walking through the block. It was a 2 block. It was as long as 2 blocks. That's as far as it went. But in that 2 blocks, you're seeing people looking like monsters and zombies looking for the next hit. It was just a bad epidemic at that time. I mean, people that I was cool with, that was fly people, that had bread and everything. That shit got to them, and one of them ended up stealing from me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and this was one of the flyest dudes on the block. You know, it was just tearing people up at that time, man. But fortunately, you know, the ones that were strong got out of it, never dealt with it. You know what I'm saying? And just did other things, you know. But it was definitely a bad time at that time.
Yeah, man, it's crazy because like some of the finest chicks, they got involved in it. You've seen them get turned out, everything, right?
I knew something I went to school with that was bad chicks that it ended up happening too. And next thing you know, it was skinny, you know, looking crazy, stealing from people. Yeah, it was wild.
And you were selling on that block your mixtapes at that time. Did you face like any risk of like being robbed or anything?
Well, you always face risk of being robbed or being, you know, something happening. But, you know, I was so respected in the street and I always carried myself a certain kind of way. So I didn't have those issues. Never once.
So there's this debate that is really relevant right now about who helped create hip hop. Years ago, Fat Joe said it was 50-50 blacks and Puerto Ricans. Recently, there was a clip of KRS-One saying people trying to erase Puerto Ricans from hip hop are stupid and that it was blacks, Jamaicans, and Puerto Ricans that created it. Lord Jamar said that was bullshit. MC Shan co-signed KRS-One's take on things. What did you see personally growing up?
Let's start here. Hip hop was created by James Brown. That's everybody keep forgetting that part. There wouldn't be no hip hop music, no hip hop sound if it wasn't for James Brown. Now, in our era of what we were doing, what we took from what James Brown did in the funk music and made it hip hop, which the first rap record, the first hip hop record was made by King with the Fatback Band. My uncle Bill Curtis is the leader of that band. All right, they made the Personality Jock. That was the record that came out right before Rappers of Light. When Rappers of Light came out, that's when everybody thought that was the first rap record. But it was really King 3, Personality Jock, King 3. So King Tim 3, the third, by the Fatback Band. That was the very first hip hop record. So at that time, I don't know if Puerto Ricans or Spanish people was involved right then. I think that they came involved. They brought the b-boy stuff to it. They brought the the up rock stuff, the break dancing, which break dance was already out before hip hop was even conceived. They was doing break dance in 72, 73. So they had a big part in it. I don't know if they were there when it very, very first started. But then again, I can't say if they wasn't because it was in the Bronx, and the Bronx is the home of hip hop, and the Bronx is basically Spanish people and black people. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of hard to really say, but they were there. If they wasn't there on the creation of it, they were there from the time it started. From right after, they played a major part in it. Mad Spanish DJs and people that was doing things that probably didn't get the recognition back then was out. You had DJ Charlie Chase from the Cold Crush. You had Mean Machine, who had a record deal with Sugar Hill. You had Wiz Kid. You had so many people that was dope. Whip, but again, when it first started in the conception, I don't know if they were there to help start it, but I'm not going to say they wasn't because, like I said, it came from the Bronx, which is the home of hip hop, and that's where we always at. Where it was at.
Right, because hip hop is classified as the unification of all these different elements, and a lot of those elements existed prior to that actual time, right? Like graffiti, and I interviewed MC Shan, and he spoke about how Puerto Ricans helped bring the clothing style, the b-boy style with the the track suits and the Adidas, and a lot of the rappers started dressing like that. And I've heard other people talk about how Puerto Ricans dominated specific elements like graffiti and breakdancing, not so much on the rapping and DJing side at that time yet, though.
Yeah, well, there was definitely more Spanish people doing the graffiti and doing the breakdancing than the blacks, than anybody. So they definitely put a big contribution to hip hop in that way. As a matter of fact, the New York City Breakers and Rocksteady Crew, most of them were Spanish. New York City Breakers, all of them were Spanish. I think one of them, did they have one black dude? I don't remember. But I grew up with these dudes. I grew up with New York City Breakers on my block in Kingsbridge Terrace. Little dude left, the captain of the crew. He lived out the block from me. These dudes was all Spanish, and these dudes was the first dudes to dance with the president. You know what I'm saying? So at the time, like I said, they made a big contribution, but I can't say for sure that they was part of it starting. You know what I'm saying? They were there, of course, but I don't know if they was part of it starting. And keep in mind, really where it really started was James Brown. So, and Personality Jock or Rappers Alike wasn't the beginning of hip hop. The beginning of hip hop was when we were rhyming to break beats. There was MCs rhyming to break beats. There was no the whole record played in the party. You see 9 MCs, you know what I'm saying, with 7 DJs and maybe 1 MC. But it started there with the rapping over the break beats and the cutting and stuff like that, and then it gradually got into the other things where records started to be made and stuff like that. But records wasn't made at the beginning of hip hop. It was just hip hop music.
When you see people arguing about this, how does that make you feel?
Sometimes I feel people don't know the real story. I'm not the ones that were there. I'm talking about the ones that say stuff that they heard from somewhere else that they're making it to their own. You had to be there to understand it and understand what was going on and seeing it for yourself. Unless you talk to somebody that was there, like a KRS-One or like, you know what I'm saying? Somebody that was there that could tell you the truth about how it went. You know, I was there from the conception since I was a kid. You know, hip hop started when I was a kid. You know, and
so you must have saw Puerto Ricans at least in the audience, though.
Of course, they were. Like I said, they was there. They were there. They was at every breakbeat cipher. I mean, break dance cipher. They were there. It wasn't like they wasn't there. I'm just saying I don't know if they helped start it.
Got you. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So, but they were there.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
And I know KRS is your man, so you saying that he was there from the beginning. You're more leaning towards what he's saying. Would you say?
No, I'm saying that anybody that came from that era would know exactly what happened around that time.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? You can't really listen to people that came way after that heard something from somebody else and then they make it up to the way they want to make it up. You have to come from there and know exactly what was going on when you was there and hear it from the people that was there to see it. You know what I'm saying?
So I got a lot of fans that are Boricuas from the Bronx, right? And they love Terror Squad and all the stories about them. You actually appeared on Fat Joe's album Don Cartagena on the song Walk On By, right? Mm-hmm. You did the intro to that. How mm-hmm. did that come about?
He asked me to do it. But I've done that with many people's albums. Like I've been on a lot of people's albums. When I did my last album in 2022, the Love album, I didn't ask no guests except for my daughter, R&B artist and a reggae artist to be on my album. So that was something that I wanted to do. But for years, I've been on different people's records and different people's stuff. And, you know, it's been like that.
How did that relationship between you and Joe come about? Because I know you guys have done like charitable things together as well.
I know Joe before Joe was Fat Joe.
Oh, for real?
I know Joe a long time. I know Joe. Well, I'm not going to say I know him before he was Fat Joe. I know him before he was known as Fat Joe. I remember seeing Fat Joe performing in the Apollo Theater with a top hat and a cane with two girls. Yeah.
That's when he won, right? He won the Apollo?
Nah, he was a guest.
Oh, he was a guest, okay.
Yeah, he was a guest that night. He was they used to have amateur night at their Apollo. I used to host it too. They used to have amateur night at their Apollo, and on Wednesday they have, you know, they had the amateur night on television, but they had the amateur night on Wednesday, which was the real amateur night. And Wednesday, they would bring different people in, and they would have one guest that would come in between the show, and he was the guest that night. And that was the first time I seen him. But I know him. I also know him through DITC, Diamond D, and all them, Buck Wild, you know, Showbiz, that whole crew, you know.
Right. What was your first impression when you met him?
Thought he was a wild boy. I thought he was a wild boy. You know, he was in the streets.
And because he was Fat Joe the Gangster, right, at that time.
What he was doing.
Right. What was it like working with him doing charitable things? I know that you guys have done some great things together.
We ever did a lot of charitable things. We were supposed to do something. I think we did, as a matter of fact, that's a lie. We just recently did one for Derek Jeter. I almost forgot about that. We just did one for Derek Jeter down in Florida for Derek Jeter's foundation. So yeah, we did do that. We were supposed to do something. I had started Give a Kid Foundation, and we were supposed to do something together, but it ended up falling through. But yeah. Also we have, you know what? As a matter of fact, we did do some stuff. When I received the award, when I received my name in the Bronx from the Bronx borough president, Fat Joe was president for that. So we did do a couple of political things and, you know, stuff, but not really a lot of stuff.
Got you. So that same year that the Don Cartagena album came out, your second album, Soundtrack to the Streets, comes out, and it has the song Block Party with Nori and Big Pun. Can you talk about that studio session? What was that like?
Yeah. I remember the Lost Boys was in the booth. I was doing the record with the Lost Boys. We couldn't get the record right. And Pun had came to the studio with his whole family. And he was sitting there. So after a while, I told the Lost Boys come out and let Pun go in, do his thing, and then we'll get back to what we're doing with the Lost Boys. Pun grabbed a chair, put it in front of the mic, and had his family stand around him. He did one take, one ad lib, and was out the booth.
Wow.
Came in there, did one take. He didn't mess up once. Did the whole verse, did the one ad lib thing, while his family was around him in the booth while he was doing it, and left. And I know Pun before Pun was, before the world knew a Big Pun as well. You know what I'm saying? Always been a cool dude, man. It's sad how his life went, but it was good that he had a chance to make it before he left.
Right. How did you meet Big Pun?
He passed away. He passed away on my birthday.
Oh man, that's unfortunate.
February 7th. Yep.
How did you meet Big Pun before he became, what we knew him as?
When I was doing Pilot Pen, I was a spokesman for Pilot Pens. I was doing a bunch of different commercials, Burger King, McDonald's, Sprite, different commercials, and that was just one of the things I was doing. And I was doing this thing where I had artists come downtown to Manhattan to do these interviews, and I was interviewing them, and Fat Joe was one of the guys I was interviewing, and he brought Pun with him. And that's how I met him. I ain't never knew of him until that day. And when he brought Pun with him, we talked. I didn't even know Pun rhymed. He didn't say that he rapped. He just had him with him. So I thought he was just his man. And then later on, I heard him. And that's when I was like, wow, this kid is crazy.
What was your reaction when the first time you heard him rhyme?
He was different. First of all, Spanish people always had this kind of accent when they rhyme. Fat Joe and Pun, Fat Joe and Pun was the first ones that I seen. Even Joe, he had a little accent. He had a little accent in his vocals when he rhymed. But he ended up getting, changing it and swerving it out and making it a little different. Pun came in like that. Pun, if you seen Pun, if you heard Pun, you would think he was black.
Right.
If you didn't see him. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, he had a certain diction that
his articulation of the words.
His articulation was just really over the top. So when you heard it, it was automatically infectious.
That day that you met him for the first time, was any of the other Terror Squad members there, like Cuban Link, Armageddon?
Nah, it was just Fat Joe and Pun.
Got you. Okay. Do you have any stories with Terror Squad that you can share, being from the Bronx?
Not really. Just know them, see them here and there, pound them up, play their music.
Dope.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen interviews where you have listed Eminem in your top 5, right? Or top 6, rather. You have defended Eminem before and shown him respect. Dr. Umar Johnson came out not too long ago and said that someone that isn't black cannot be the GOAT of something created by black people, meaning hip hop. What did you think about that?
I don't listen to that stuff. If you dope, you dope. I don't care what color you are, white, black, spotted, or dotted. If you dope and you made it and you got to the top of the food chain, that's what matters to me. Doesn't matter how you look, where you come from, how old you are, how much money you got, what your background is. If you have a talent and that's it, that's it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody want to make all these different things. What's dope is dope, and that's it. And the kid is incredible. He may not be something that the regular general hip-hop population might listen to. He may not make the records that's conducive for the club, but everything ain't for the club, and everything ain't for just black people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because there's this notion that black people don't really rock with Eminem's music.
That's not true. People rock with anybody that brings out something hot. Okay, if Eminem came out with an amazing record that everybody like, then they will rock with Eminem. It's as simple as that. You as hot as your last record. So, but then again, he just came out with a record that's not conducive to black people. But it's not just about black people. It's Spanish people. It's Chinese people. It's Japanese people. It's white people. It's the whole world. It's a big world, a lot of people in it. So, if we ain't rocking with it, that doesn't mean the next people ain't rocking with it.
On a podcast, you said Eminem haters are mad because he does black stuff better than them. Some people felt the type of way about that comment.
Well, maybe it shouldn't have been said like that. That's not how I meant it. He does
Right.
black stuff better than black people. He's doing black stuff better than you are. The individual that has something to say. You know what I'm saying? The one that got something to say. If he's doing it better than you, why are you mad? You know what I'm saying? Like, if anything, be happy for him. You
Yeah.
know, we get too much of this color thing. Like, let's just do music. Let's just do music. And if it's hot, it's hot. If it's not, it's not. It's as simple as that. Because regardless of what you say about that man and anybody else, people gonna go on and do what they gonna do. You know what I'm saying? You either like it or don't.
That's a strange thing, right? Because we talk about hip hop being about unifying people and being multicultural, but then
And
sometimes
then when you're ready, you're ready. And then when you're ready, you're gonna separate anybody at the time you want to do it. First you say one thing and then you say another thing. My thing is that let's just let people be people. How about that? How about everybody stop having an opinion about everybody? How about everybody just enjoy? If you don't like it, don't rock with it. It's as simple as that. But everybody got a voice. Everybody is a social media talker, an influencer, and a stripper. It's like everybody's somebody. Like, shut up. Just let people do what they do, live their life. Done. You don't like it, don't rock with it.
right. And you know, one thing I think that you cannot debate is how much he pays homage to the culture, to the people that came before him. He's
Yes, he
always
does.
rocking t-shirts showing people that came before him. In his rock and roll speech, he said 50 different names, a lot of names people don't ever get brought up. You know, so I don't know how you can hate on that man, because that's what it's about. It's about not just what you get from the culture, but what you give back to the culture. And I feel like that's what he does.
I think what happens when you become so big, you become so much of a target. Like Drake is a target right now. You see what I'm saying? You become so big and you become this dude. After a while, people get tired of you because you became this person. And they look for ways to knock you down. You know what I'm saying? They get tired of you. They look for things that probably isn't true. You can't make no kind of opinion because people gonna have an opinion about your opinion. It's like it's always something. So the real deal is you only can satisfy people that want to be satisfied. You can't satisfy the whole world. You can't satisfy everybody. You know what I'm saying? You only can do what you can do, and if those people are with it, they with it. But I'm not here to please you. If you don't want to be pleased, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like at the end of the day, listen, if it's not for you, it's not for you. But I'm not going to agree with people that worked so hard to get where they go, and somebody that hasn't did a portion of that work is going to downplay that person of what they do, and you have done nothing to contribute to what that man's done.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So you can talk all you want. It's what you show. What did you do? What did you do to change the game? What did you do anything to help anybody or create opportunities for other people? What did you do? You're over here criticizing everybody else. What did you do? There you go.
So you did an interview on Vlad TV previously, and everything seemed good, but then there was an issue when you tried to get him to interview your daughter.
Mm-hmm.
I could see why you kind of got offended by that, because I'm assuming that you did the interview and didn't get paid. It was more like a favor, and then when it became time around for him to like kind of return that favor, he didn't do it.
Right. He didn't do it. And what he said was really what got me mad. We don't do that. What do you mean we don't do that? You don't do what? My daughter got a record out. She needs an interview. It's as simple as that. We don't do that. But then you have Boosie have some little white boy on there that nobody knows. You know what I'm saying? Like that, I didn't understand that. And, you know, but that's that man's platform. I don't even really want to talk about him. He didn't want to gun on there. That's cool. Whatever. Don't need him there. Don't need it there. It ain't for her anyway.
Right. You know, I look at your relationship with your daughter, and it seems like you guys are really close. Like you work really hard to ensure that, right? That you're a part of her career and everything. And I think that's great, because you are modeling being a good father and a part of your child's life. And you know, in the public eye, I feel like something like that is really important, because it feeds a better narrative and it inspires people to do better.
Mm-hmm. That goes for both of my daughters. At the end of the day, that's what our job is to do. We brought kids into this world. It's our responsibility to make sure that we take care of them and make sure we got them in the right way. I don't respect a man that doesn't take care of his kids. Simple as that. You have a kid, you have a child, you made the child, take care of it. A lot of times, you know, people fall into situations where they have children that they didn't really want. There's precautions to make sure that didn't happen, to prevent that. And if you didn't take those precautions and you end up doing something and the child's here, it's your child. You know, a man is a man when he takes care of his child. You know, and I just feel like that's very important. And that's the reason why a lot of kids today are in gangs and doing stuff and doing different things, because they don't have a father figure in the house to guide them in the right way. So the streets become their father. They learn from the streets, you know, and the moms can't handle them, you know, so they end up doing what they do. But a father figure in the house or a father figure in your kid's life is very important, because that's going to be the one that they when there's nobody to turn to, you're the one they're going to turn to. You're the one that's going to make sure that they're going to be all right and guide them in the right place. And that's it. And if men don't understand that, that's a problem.
Battle rap is one of the most hip hop things ever. Do you agree?
I think it's one of the most hip hop things ever and beyond. That's why I did an album called Top 10 on them. I was with the battle rappers before any of these artists were. When they didn't have the recognition and they were in the video stores battling and on the streets, I was helping them. After Smack had left, I came in and started helping all the battle rappers, trying to get them to the next level with making with certain things. So me and Lux got together, me and Lola Lux, and we shot this thing that I was going to bring to HBO, half-hour show with Goods and Tech Nine, battle rapper, rest in peace. And we shot with 3 other people, and it was just dope. I had KRS, Rakim, and Big Daddy Kane as my judges that day. That shit was incredible. So I was working with the battle rappers way before they blew up. And then when they blew up, you started seeing everybody start coming to try to help them and be a part of shit. But I was doing that already. But that's why I got so much respect from them and did the Top 10 album, which I didn't put out yet still, and got that album done quick because I was trying to help them when nobody else wasn't. You know,
right, because you was working on that album even before the Love album. I've been hearing you talk about it for years.
The Top 10 album was the first album way before the Love album. I decided to do the Love album after when the pandemic was going. In the pandemic, I seen a lot of shit that I didn't agree with as far as the DJ is concerned. And I said, you know what? Let me do something that they can't do. Let me do something different. And I wrote Slap Key. That was the first song I wrote. And then I just kept going. I did all the beats. I kept going. I just kept going. Next thing you know, the Love album was done. But I did it quick. I did that shit in like 5 months. I was done. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to do something different. And that's what it was. But it came out. It's doing great. No complaints. I knew it wouldn't be on the radio all crazy with all the DJs playing it. I knew it wasn't going to be a thing. It was going to be a thing where Wise Kid putting the album out for 24 years at his age and all this shit. I didn't care about none of that. I'm hip hop. I'm who I am. I do what I do. And I do it well to a very high level. So that's why the album sounded the way it does. Incredible.
You set the right expectations for yourself. You knew what it was gonna be.
I'm never going to do anything that's going to make me look bad. I'm never going to do anything that doesn't look professional. I'm never going to do anything that's not hot. I'm never going to put my name on anything that's not good. You know what I'm saying? And it's always been like that. You know, you have to understand that it's not about just now. It's about a career. It's about longevity. That's why I have so much longevity. That's why I've been here for so long and been stable, because I understand and respect my position. I understand and respect that I'm one speck out of millions and millions of people that was chosen for this position. So you live it up and you bless it. You stay blessed with it by treating it with respect and doing what you're supposed to do to honor it. And understand that it's the people that say yes to you that keep your lights on. It's not you dictating to people, keep my lights on. If they don't like you, you're done. If they feel like you're better than them, you're done. We're no better than nobody. We're just people with better jobs than a lot of people. That's all. We're no different. We're no better. We bleed. We shit. We laugh. We talk, tell out. We do everything that everybody else do. It's no different. We're all human. Nobody's better. So don't ever get caught up in because you see a superstar that's the shit, which you should respect them for working, getting there. You know what I'm saying? When you see him, ask for an autograph, ask for a picture, let him know that he's doing good. Tell him that he's doing good. But if he ever acts to you like he's better than you, tell him to go fuck himself. Simple as that. He's no better than you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And you know, that's why I respect you so much, kid, because like I've seen you talk about in interviews like being a good human just overall, right? And then I feel like because people have a talent, sometimes people confuse that like as them as being such a great person. You might be great at your talent, but doesn't mean that you're a good person, like what you do behind the scenes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, and also people got to know too that on the other side that we are human. You know, if we're eating, wait till we finish eating before you ask for autograph. Don't let me put the phone. And even though you may not wait, it's up to me to make you feel comfortable, even though I don't feel like being bothered right now. Because I didn't ask to be in this position, and that comes along with it. You know what I'm saying? But you as a person should know that man's eating. Maybe I should just wait. It shouldn't be about me right now. Let me let that man eat after he's finished. I'll ask him. You got to have enough common sense to say that to yourself. But if you don't, I'm not going to make you feel bad by coming to ask. But that's something that you should know. You know what I'm saying? Like you should know when people need to be bothered or don't need to be bothered. But let's say you just don't. It's our responsibility to make sure these people feel comfortable. I seen somebody, Anthony Mackie, say, if you ask me for an autograph and I say no, I don't owe you nothing. I don't have to give you no autograph. I don't have to give you that. And that's his opinion. If that's how you feel, that's how you feel. But when we sign up for this, all of that comes with it. In my opinion, all of these things come with it. People are not going to have the same way a thought pattern as you. You're a person that's worldly. You've been places. You learned things. You made money. You did some stuff. Some people never left where they live at. Some people never been nowhere else, and they only know where they're from. So they might not be as sharp as you. They might not think I'm disturbing them by asking him for an autograph, even though he's talking to somebody right now. They may not think that way. Not that it come from a bad place or they have a bad heart. It's just that they're not thinking in that way and they're not used to that. Like there's people that get on Instagram and say some dumb shit on the Instagram, and then you go and look at their thing and they got 65 followers. That's because they say the dumb shit because they don't have internet etiquette. They always had dumb shit in them, so they brought the dumb shit to the internet, not realizing this is not how you move. And then once they start being on there for a while and seeing how things is, then they realize what I did was not right. This is the right way to do it. You see what I'm saying? So that's what it is. It's the same thing as a kid that goes to jail. He think going to jail is stripes. I'm gonna go to jail, come back. You know, everybody I'm gonna be the man. I ain't gonna snitch. I ain't gonna do this and do that. Meanwhile, when you get up in there, you come back out you ain't telling the stories that happened to you when you was in there. You realize that this wasn't no stripe. This wasn't the place for me to be at. You see what I'm saying? But that's where knowledge come in. You're never going to learn. If you don't listen to people, if you don't have common sense, if you don't have an open mind, chances are you're going to make the wrong moves. You're going to do the wrong things. And that's why they're older people you don't call dusty, because they've been through it. They've been through it. If anything, you ask them a question. You ask them, how can I make it through life? How can I wheel and deal and do certain shit? You don't disrespect these people like they don't, like you know more than them. That's stupid.
That's facts, man. Circling back, when can we expect the top tier album?
I'm updating it right now. I'm doing 4 albums right now.
4 albums?
Yeah, I got 4 albums that's going to drop. I got a lot of product. You know, I did the Hoodies album, which is out now. The Hoodie shit is smacking. But I got an artist named Fuchs I'm about to drop. Credible. Got the top tier album. I got another album I'm doing and another album. And I'm working. Then I'm thinking about starting this other thing too. Yeah, so I'm getting this I got some things happening. I don't want to talk too much about stuff I got coming on, but I got a lot of big things about to happen. And
Yo, kid, you gave up touring so much, but work don't stop though. Like I see, like you got clothing line, you got this, you got the real estate, right? Like you got so many different things on your plate all the time.
I stay working.
Yeah.
And you know, that's what it is. That's what it is. That's why you never see me bragging on the net, showing what I got, show you my watch, show you my sleep, show you this shirt. I only show you the work. That's all you need to see. And that right there will influence you and inspire you. Me showing off everything I got, not knocking nobody to do it, but it's just not. I know plenty of rich people that you will never know is rich, walk around with a Hawaiian shirt and chicletas on, and you'll never know they're billionaires. And they laugh at people that do that type of shit, showing off. And, you know, I think when people see fly shit on you, it's supposed to be in passing, not because you take the camera, hey, let me show my, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's supposed to be in power. You see that nigga watch? You see a car? It like that, not, you know, but who am I to judge? You get attention the way you want it. You feel like you need attention that way. That's cool. But for me, it's more of the work. It's more of a, let me show you what I can do. The other day, I put a post up about chicks that, you know, call themselves, well, Gilly was the one that put it up. So when
Yeah, I
women
saw you
call themselves
repost that.
bad bitches and shit, like, you know,
It's true, man.
it's like, come on, it's corny at this point. Like, show me what you can do. I'm not going to be attracted by how you look anymore because we done seen all the baddest chicks that you can imagine. You know what I'm saying? We see them every day. I've dealt with bad chicks my career. I see bad chicks all on the net. It's nothing special no more. What can you do? What can you do? Can you start a business? Can you take care of a family? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you fine as hell, but when we get past that, what's next? You know what I'm saying? That's like me coming on there. I'm a fly nigga. I'm fly this and fly that. You be like, yeah, all right, what else? What else? So that's why I show the work instead of showing all the other shit that you may think is cute or you may think is the look at me factor. I watch dudes modeling on the net. I be watching dudes modeling on the net, standing for the cars. Every other day they gotta have a different outfit on. I wear the same goddamn shit on the net 5 times a week, and I got fly shit in my closets. Like, it's just the mentality of how we think and how we moving, man. We just gotta get our mind right.
Right. So what happened with the show with Loaded Lux on HBO?
It just didn't happen. Lux did something that I didn't agree with. You know, he's cool. I rock with Lux, but he just did something I didn't agree with, so I ended up not moving it. And that's how I ended up moving and doing the Top 10 album.
So you guys are still cool, though?
Yeah, we're still cool.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. So speaking about battle rap, though, right? How did you feel about the Kendrick versus Drake situation?
I thought it was dope until it started getting too serious.
It got too personal.
Yeah, people getting shot at. Come on, man. This is nice. Come on. You know, Kendrick a cool dude. You know, I did the Damn album with Kendrick. So he's not a rowdy type of dude. You know what I'm saying? Cool. I don't know why they were beefing. I don't know why it started, how it started. You know, I'm hearing Drake is in a position where he owns people's music or something. I don't know. You know, I'm hearing things, but I don't really know the core of it. But for whatever it is, for Kendrick to come the way he did, it's pretty serious. You know, but it was dope. It ain't like it's dope. But now you see Rick Ross getting jumped in Canada, and it should never take it to that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that didn't happen with Jay and Nas.
Right.
That didn't happen with Karis, One and Shan. That didn't happen with, you know what I'm saying, LL and Kumo. Like, it was about the music.
Because, you know, when you look at it at face value, we looking at Kendrick and Drake. They're not the hardest rappers or anything by any means, right? And, you know, the rhymes going back and forth, it was fun for everyone. It was exciting for hip hop. It was dope, right? But then, like, it started to get too personal in the rhymes. And then now with these incidents in the streets, it's starting to give you a little bit more of that vibe of like, man, this is like how Tupac and Big, like that beef kind of was where it spilled over outside of the music.
Yeah, well, you know, battling is personal. If you look at battle rap, you know, it gets personal. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is. But once it starts splitting into the street where people start feeling like they're going to get credit for doing something to somebody else, and you don't even know the person that you're doing it for. You don't even, people don't know Drake. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, but that's his city and they holding him down. So I'm not mad at that. But when it starts getting to the point where people getting hurt and jumped and all that, no, we don't need that. We don't need that in no hip hop. Battling, challenging each other, that's hip hop. That's what hip hop is built on. You know what I'm saying? But it's not built on people getting shot over it or hurt. That shit's stupid.
I just think that once you start talking about people's families and making those serious
And
allegations,
that's why I couldn't be a battle rapper, because as soon as you talk about my daughter or my mom's or getting in my face yelling, we're gonna be fighting. So it's not, you have to have a certain kind of skin for that. You know what I'm saying? But for battlers, that's what they do. You know, and you got to know when you get in a battle, there's no limit. You know what I'm saying? Especially when there's information out there that somebody can find and say something about, there's no limit. It's a battle. It's the same thing as a comedian. There's no limit with a comedian. You can't take a comedian serious when he jokes on you about shit that you put out there in the world. That's his job to do. So if you go to a comedy show and you jump on stage mad at what he just joked on you about, you're an idiot. Don't go to the comedy show, or better yet, don't sit in the front so he can joke on you. But if you sit there, chances are it's going to happen. You're going to let that become a problem because the joke is on you. Like, people got to get their minds right. You just, you know.
So you don't think either side went too far because they were in the battle as far as what they said?
No. As far as what they said, when I heard him call him a pedophile, I was like, can he get sued for that?
They definitely, defamation of character, you know.
That's definitely defamation when I heard that, you know.
But then Drake was talking about his baby mama, his kids too. So like some of the allegations he made about that, you know, I think I saw something where like a lawyer was breaking down how they could sue each other for different things. So it was pretty serious.
But they would look like suckers if they sued each other.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. This is hip hop. Like, it is what it is. You know what I mean? So, you know, and you can't blame Drake for people jumping on Rick Ross or jumping on anybody else because they fans. That's how crazy fans are. But it never should be that way. Should never be that way. You know what I'm saying?
The same thing with the shooting at Drake's house, right? With his
that
security
shit is crazy.
guard.
You shooting at this man's house, shoot a security guard, like that shit is crazy.
But we don't even know who sent for that or anything, you know. So It's just like it seems like it's tied to it, but we don't know for sure.
That ain't tied. Ain't tied to Kendrick or Drake. That's somebody that, if people be out here killing for no reason or shooting for no reason, all they need is a reason.
And you know, crazy fans, sometimes they feel like I'm gonna take on for my favorite artist or something.
What happened to John Lennon?
Right.
John Lennon was one of the biggest Beatles. The Beatles was the biggest band of the time. And when John Lennon became solo and became big in his own, he's walking in his building to get shot from a fucking crazy fan in Central Park. He killed right there. Somebody just killed him for no reason. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have people like that. You know, they going through shit in their own head. They have views of it. You can look on IG and see how people think. You can write something out, make it blatantly clear, and they still will ask the question to it as if you didn't already say it. Like, you already said it, and you didn't read what I just read, what I just wrote. You didn't see what I just wrote.
They'll twist your words.
You still say, yeah, twisted it, and you didn't see what like, that's what I'm saying. So some people just don't get it.
Not logical.
They're not logical. They have very basic common sense you find in a lot of people that don't have it. Just basic common sense.
Comprehension skills.
And I've learned that dealing with people all over the world. Like, and that's why you got to be a people person. You got to understand that it's not about you. That everybody's not going to think the way you do it. Everybody don't have the smarts you may have. Everybody not might have the timing. You know, people are different. So if you're going to be a person in this business, you have to know that. You know what I'm saying? You can't just go with just the way you think and that's it. That's the law. No, there's other places. A person in Kentucky, we can go as far as Kentucky. They don't give a fuck about what's going on in New York. They don't have a New York mentality. They have a Kentucky mentality. They don't give a shit about what's going on in New York. They don't care about the New York music on the radio. They don't care about, they have their way of living. You see what I'm saying? And when they want to involve with themselves, they will, but they have their way of living. And that goes for anywhere else.
Well, but that's like to piggyback off of what you were talking about before. Like, some people have never left their block, right? Some people have never left where they're from. So when you travel, you start to have a larger worldly view. You start to see things differently. You start to understand people can be different, and you're more open to that. You're more accepting of that.
Now you start becoming different. Now you start yo, I was bugging. Yo, it's not like that. Yo, you start seeing things for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Look how many artists, gangster artists. Now you see them older. They were gangsters in the 90s.
Right.
Talk gangster shit in the 90s. Now they're older. And you see them talk about, yo, we got to start treating people this way. We got to start doing this. Yo, you can't act like that. You're shooting shit. You were talking about that shit back then. But you're going to get older.
Yeah.
You're going to get older. You're going to get wiser. You're going to see more shit.
Have kids.
That's going to say, you're going to have kids. You're going to see things that's going to make you say, you know what? That's not the right way. That was my rebellious thinking. That's not the right way of doing it. This is the right way of doing it. That automatically comes. The jails are full of them. Kids that think, like I said, kids that think they're getting a strike by going into a jail, and when they come out, they're going to be the man. No. You're going to come out to nothing.
Yeah, and I think that you just start to realize there's so much more to life.
It's so much more. And when you're stuck in one place and all you see is drug dealing, you see ganging, you see this, that's what you know. So that's as far as your mind go. A lot of these kids think they ain't going to get past 25 years old. So they try to do what they can do and get crazy with it earlier in the rush because they only think they're going to be here long enough to live it.
Yeah, and when you start to factor in things like, you know, the lack of proper nutrition, right? Food deserts, just like the things that exist within the hood of you not being able to have basic, you know, necessities met. It's you can't feel good, so you're not going to act in your best way too, though.
Mm-hmm. It's a fact. That's a fact.
You put DMX on stage before anyone knew who he was.
Before the world knew who he was.
Right. Before the world knew who he was. This was during that time that he was beefing with K Solo over Spellbound, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they were previously locked up together. Did you ever have a conversation with X about that?
No.
But you knew that was going on during that time?
Yeah. But I always stayed out of people's business. Like I said, I always stayed positive. I'm not going to choose sides because I was cool with K Solo as well. I mean, I knew DMX more, but if I'm cool with both, I'm cool with both. I don't play sides on people. With anything, I try to make them say, you know what, man, leave that shit alone. You know, but at that time back then, you know, let people do what they do, man.
Right. You know, what was your first impression of DMX? Like, what made you decide to put him on stage?
Because I knew he was a dope MC.
You saw it in him early.
Yeah, I seen him early. I seen him, you know, put him on. The first time I didn't even know what he was going to do. And then I heard him, and I was like, wow. So he always been dope. He didn't have the rough voice, the dog voice.
Right, so he wasn't barking or anything, but he had the lyrical skills.
Lyrical skills, definitely.
How did you feel when he passed away?
Hurt. Because he's one of the realest dudes in it.
Yeah, and when we were talking about seeing people as humans and treating them a certain way, I felt like X was really down to earth in that way where he wasn't as impressed about people with the money, the jewels and everything. Like he, you know, I've heard stories where he would be on tour, he would sit with the homeless person for hours just talking to him.
Absolutely. You ever seen DMX drive a Lamborghini?
No.
You ever seen DMX with a diamond chain on?
No, he only had like his little like Cuban link or something like that. That
Dog
was like
chains.
not even gold. Yeah.
Dog chains.
Yeah.
That he always wore. You ever seen DMX bragging?
Nah.
In his rhymes.
In his rhymes, he would say, "How much your watch costs? You about to get your watch lost." You know, but he was never really like, yeah.
Every time you seen DMX talking, it was either he didn't like somebody or he was speaking godly.
It's facts.
You know what I'm saying? And I'd rather tell you I don't like you instead of you having to wonder.
Yeah, he kept it a buck.
Kept it a buck. You know what I'm saying? So the only thing that he did to himself was when he abused himself. He didn't do nothing to nobody else. There's nothing out there that says that he did something to somebody else.
Right. Did you guys have a good relationship up to his passing?
The time we started to the time See, Tommy checked out.
Man,
I got a video of me and him doing the show together. Where was we at? In Dallas, I think. I think it was Dallas. Like in what was it? 2019 maybe, something like that.
He was definitely a one of one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, kid. My last question, because I know we went over, and you were gracious in allowing that to happen, man. How are things between you and Funkmaster Flex these days?
Cool.
So you guys got over the hump of like your little disagreement.
I never had a problem with him.
Even though he said that you fell off and everything, you took it as just like competition.
That's why I got in his ass, because he said that. I fell off. When he said that, that's when it became a problem. So I had to get in his ass for that. But other than that, if Flex would have had an issue, if he would have needed me to help him do whatever in the middle of our beef, I'd have helped him. Because it wasn't that serious. It was about hip hop. And right now, we super cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to do BLS for him this Sunday.
That's dope, man. Because you challenged him for 100,000 at one point, but you felt like Versus wasn't the right setting for that, or
I didn't care where it was at.
But he didn't want to do it.
Yeah, hey, I don't know. I'm not saying he didn't. We didn't do it. I'll leave it there.
Okay.
But my thing is that I'm past that shit. We cool. Flex is different now too. At the time, I didn't like how Flex was moving. That's why I got to Flex the way I did. He did some shit. He said something to me I didn't like. He was moving a certain kind of way, so I felt like he needed a spanking on his hand for a minute to wake him up, because he was getting away with it for so long.
And you do that to your brother sometimes.
You have
to do that
Exactly. So sometimes you gotta like tap him on the chin and let him know, yo, dude, you're in a position to be a king. You can change people's lives. You know what I'm saying? Don't abuse it.
Because I feel like if you really care about somebody, then it's your job to check them, right? Because
that's it.
That's when you're going to tell them, like, they out of line for what they're doing.
That's it. And it wouldn't even have got to that point. It started with a conversation me and him had on the phone, and how he spoke to me on the phone. That's how it started.
Right, because they was gassing you, saying the post that he had put up was about you, and you called him and said, "What's up with this post?" And he kind of like, "Don't you be coming up here asking me about what I post on my page."
Yeah, it was like that. So it became that. So it was fun for me. But when he said I fell off, that's when it was like, all right, now we're gonna get crazy. And that's what ended up happening. But that's my man. We good.
Yo, kid, you didn't tell him he lied. He fucking lied. No, but I saw something that you said in an interview where you said Flex knows that you could have stopped him from playing in the clubs downtown, but you didn't. You know, in this industry, blackballing happens and there's politics, and I'm sure you've seen it. Why did you didn't partake in that?
I don't partake in taking no money out of no next man's pocket. What would I do? That's been done to me. Many promoters came to me and said, yo, DJs came to me and said, yo, you're paying kids too much. You could just pay me this. Don't worry, we got Kid coming. Because Kid's going to bring the crowd. Kid's going to do his job. Kid's going to shut it down. I'm going to have a relationship with Kid. We're going to always make money for years. And that's what it's been. And when you come at somebody like that, yo, don't hire him, don't hire me. How do you think that person's going to look at you? Because what would you do to him if you had the opportunity to do it?
Right.
Right. So you're going to come to him, think you're doing something good for yourself by shitting on the next person? No. God ain't going to allow that. That's karma within itself. So all you're doing is killing yourself by doing that and showing how minimal you are, what your value really is. I didn't never have to do that ever in my whole career, cut somebody else for me to get where I got to go.
But you've seen it in your career a lot, that it happens to other people, right?
Absolutely. All the time.
That's a terrible thing. Like, why would people want to do that to other people?
Because it ain't for everybody, and everybody don't know what to do. Just like music business ain't for everybody, but everybody want to be in it. This is why the music business is where it's at right now, because you got to, anybody can grab a computer, put a record out, throw it out, and that's it. If it trips, they don't know nothing about no artist development. They don't know nothing about no going through struggle. No doors closing their face. All they know is that their record came out and went viral when they out. That's it. So now you got everybody doing it. Waters down the music to where albums ain't relevant no more. Albums ain't relevant because anybody making an album is not a person that's really know how to make an album. It's just somebody making an album because they can, and only one record is good on the album. Or 2 records, they download that and the rest of the album is over. So now the narrative becomes about the singles. But if you're making the love album, like the Kid Capri love album, you know that shit dope from the top to the bottom. No question. So you enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you gotta, it's just not for everybody, but everybody want to be a part of it. But that's why your shit got to be special and stand out. When you follow the wave of everybody else, when that wave is over, you're over. You got to be the wave.
You know, you were talking about being a good person, right? In this industry, a lot of people will smile in your face and then stab you in the back, you know, like say they'll do things and then they won't follow through. How do you navigate that? Like, what kind of advice can you give somebody coming into the industry on what to expect in that regard?
Stay out the way, like I do. When I'm off the road, when I ain't doing those shows, I'm in my house. I go out when I need to. I go out when it's necessary. I go out when it's business. I don't go out just to be in everybody's events all the time just so that I can sure you can see me and I'm there and, you know, just stay out the way because you're in your own circle. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be validated by being in everybody's circle. You know what I'm saying? You stay out the way, you can see things clearly. You could concentrate on things. You could focus on things. You could plan things. You could get things done. You could build alliances with people that want to build alliances with you, not people that's going to, you know, stab you in the back so they get a chance. And you don't know who's who until you know who's who. You know what I'm saying? So my way of doing things is I see things from afar. When you see me, it's more like, yo, glad to see you. Then this nigga again. And you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's more of a, I'm happy to see you. When you start seeing somebody all the time, you're not a big deal no more. You got everybody's event all the time. Like, we see you on the net all day. It's like, you just become
too available.
Not special. Yeah, you're not special. It's like not special no more. You know what I'm saying? So we got to keep it special. And how you do that, when you are seen, make sure that it means something. When you are seen, it's something that makes sense, that matters, not just for the sake of being seen. Anybody can just pick the phone up, put it in their face and post it. But to me, you look like you want to be seen. To somebody else, they may be like, oh, I'm happy about that. But for me, it's like you just want to be seen. Show something to me that I could go on with my day and be like, yo, that's some shit that I needed to see. Everybody got an opinion. Everybody got something to say. Everybody, it's like shit becomes corny. It's like, show what you doing to change somebody's life. What opportunities are you creating for other people?
How do you decide the difference between industry relationship and like real friendship? Because I feel like a lot of people get that confused.
Yeah, these are not your friends.
Do you have a lot of industry friends, like real friends from the industry? Or would you say it's like a few?
I have a couple.
Gotcha.
Everybody else I'm cool with. We associates. We'll do for them, do for me. But when it comes to that word friend, it's a big, big word to me. Big, big word to me. Redman, that's a friend. That's my friend. That's my man. That's, you know what I'm saying? Red Alert. Let me see, what I consider friends. There's quite a few, but I'll say Redman right now.
Yeah, because you were talking about people that's going to be there for you, whether you up or you down. Right. At the end of the day.
Right. But with me, you know, there's been times I've been down and nobody knows. And I bounce right back. I have a very, very long career. So sometimes things may go and then, you know. So, but really I always been steady. So I never really had no issues. And I don't ask nobody for anything. You'll never know that I need something because I don't ask. I just do what I got to do and I get it on my own. You know what I'm saying? So it's always been like that. a testament to that is my album.
Right.
Like I said, I could have went and asked anybody to be on it. I produced everything, wrote everything. Put my daughter, reggae artist, R&B artist. Done.
All right, kid. I just want to thank you for being solid and giving me your time, man. You didn't have to do this, but you did. Is there anything else you want to say to the people before we wrap it up?
Nah, if you need me, you need me to come do one of the festivals or these shows in your city, just hit my DM, kick a pre 101. I'll put you to Fisty Cliff. Fisty got me all over the place. So.
And make sure you got a check ready.
Oh, a big check.
A big check.
Absolutely, because you're going to get paid a lot.
Right. Appreciate you, kid.
Same thing, Panda.